Okay, so for this final arrangement we're going to do is a Rimpa arrangement. And the story about Rimpa arrangements are the third headmaster, Houn Ohara, came up with this style, and similar to the Bunjin, where this is really a focus on Asian culture and the experience in Japan from the past. The Rimpa style of painting started, I believe it was the late 1500s, early 1600s. Many different things could be painted on those screens. Anything from like the god of thunder, kind of fighting each other in the clouds with a gold leaf, or there can be very pastoral, like floral arrangements. So this first material I'm going to use is a fasciated willow or dragon tail willow. So what I'm doing here, unlike many of the other arrangements where I'm trying to create depth, I'm trying to actually create something that looks more two-dimensional and something you could envision could be put onto a screen or onto a fan. So if you look at like a Japanese style fan, the arrangement I do could fit or be painted onto a fan similar to this. Maybe a little bit bigger. And if not a fan, one of those room dividing screens or one of those doors that would open up a space in a Japanese home. When we do Rimpa, we need to use materials that would potentially have been featured on one of those paintings. I believe because this willow is from Asia, it's possible. So I originally came to Ikebana by attending a martial arts dojo. The style of martial art is Aikido, and the dojo is Zenshinkan. And one of the things that I loved about that space was there was a group of people that did this thing called Ikebana, which I didn't know what it was at the time. And I felt that when I would do the martial arts, looking at the arrangement that was in the front where everyone lines up and bows, that it kind of felt like it gave me energy. I felt energized by the arrangement. And I said to myself, well, if I ever have an injury, I will try that Ikebana. And that was in 2008 when I had my first shoulder injury. We do a lot of rolling in Aikido, and my shoulders didn't like the rolling so much. So this first material I'm kind of using to tie everything together so it'll be the same material across the space. So I tried Ikebana and I've continued ever since. I fell in love with it. I spent a lot of time and still do, taking walks. One of my favorite places to go is Portland State Park in Easton, Mass. And what I love about Ohara style is, we really do seem to take and bring nature into our arrangements. And for years, I would love to take photography of various scenes in nature or animals, and so this really brought me joy to be able to do this in the home or for you. so that you can also hopefully see and appreciate the way Houn Ohara, the first headmaster, and all the headmasters since, to bring this kind of feeling of nature into your home space. So this is Camilla that I'm using now, which would be very seasonal. Both of these are very seasonal materials. Fortunately, it's too early for the Camilla to have flowers, so I just have the greens, but if you can imagine Camilla flowers on here, how beautiful it would be. So Camilla would often be seen on kimono patterns when you want to, these are evergreen, and in Japanese they call it tsubaki. Often we don't use Camilla in Ikebana arrangements because there's a connotation to them. If you've ever worked with the plant that has the flowers, or if you've tried to grow your own, you would know that if you move them too fast, the flower will just fall off. And the symbolism, or the thought in Japan, is that it's like getting your head chopped off with a sword. So, but in this case, we're going to appreciate the beauty of the material. So with this style, we do a lot of exaggeration, which means things that maybe grow tall don't. Maybe instead of showing the front of the flower or the material, we'll show the back. Depends on, you're the artist, what are you creating? This particular arrangement, the question was asked before, are there rules on the lengths and angles of the materials? And in this case, it's free. You can do what you want, but the materials should be materials that you would see in those paintings, or potentially be something in Japan. And then, like I had said before, this one should look like something that can go onto a very large fan or be painted on the fan. So it's a little taller here, spreads out on the edge. So I can't say for sure if these kale and cabbages would have been painted on that style of painting, but I've seen other more advanced Ikebana practitioners than me use them recently, so I hope you like them. So all this material would be associated with the winter, or I guess late fall, winter, maybe. These small chrysanthemums are similar to chrysanthemums that would be winter chrysanthemums in Japan. So they would go pretty late into the cold season. So my story of the painting that I'm doing is obviously a colder or winter scene painting. Now you can see some of these paintings that maybe take materials from different seasons. So you could go, from fall or spring to summer to fall, if you'd like. Be the final arrangement because I have less to say. You can do this arrangement in one long container, or you could do it with several containers that were disconnected. So you can really fill up a large space with the materials. Okay. So that's my Rimpa painted on a fan.